Oh yeah, there we go. I can feel it. I can feel the buttons clicking already. This is gonna be awesome. Hey, welcome back to Gears and Tech. Now you may be wondering what is all on my table here, so let's go over it. This is a Chronus Zen. Everybody knows what it is. It's a cheat device and you only use it for cheating. Well, no, that's wrong. I actually use it so that I can play PlayStation 5 games with my PlayStation 4 controller. That's because I like the PlayStation 4 controller better, and it's because I can run back buttons on the PlayStation 4 controller. However, if you watched one of my most recent videos, you saw that this Chronus Zen is slowly being patched out of all the new released video games. So Fortnite has already been patched and the new Call of Duty game has already been patched. It will not be long before we see other A-list titles getting patched out of the Chronus Zen. That forces me into a position where I have no choice but to use a PlayStation 5 controller. Hey, before I get too far into this video, if you are liking this content, don't forget to smash the like button down below and hit the subscribe button so you know when we're releasing our next fresh new content. Now back to the video. So this is a brand new controller. I've never used it. Still in the packaging. It is the black edition, which I like because it's going to serve a useful purpose for me. If you look at this spot right here and compared to this here, do you see how this one, it seems to taper down more? For me at least, it feels like this is more slippery, like my hands want to slide out of here, versus on here there's like this little ball there. You can see that little ball? And my hand just grips that ball better so that the controller it's in my hand. Whereas this one, it's got it a little bit, but it's more slippery. Like it slips out easier. I have never been able to get used to this. I've had my PlayStation 5 for at least a year now, or close to a year, and this, I just can't get used to this. I much prefer this. So today, I'm going to take a stock factory PlayStation 5 controller, and I'm going to be installing an Extreme Rate back button mod kit, which you've seen me install on a controller before, so this isn't new. I'm also installing a clicky face button mod, which will make these buttons right here and these ones here. These ones are kind of mushy. I've also got this, which is a clicky mod for my trigger buttons and my shoulder buttons. So these, you can see the throw here is a lot. They move a lot. On the PlayStation 5 controller, it does have little motors inside here that allow it to change the click point. So when you plug it in, the game is able to make it more clicky or less clicky. What I find is, my tendency is to pull it until it stops. So even if there's a little bit of extra resistance, I just pull harder. For whatever reason, this one, my fingers fatigue more when I'm using it. And a lot of times I use double fingers up here and this just gets more slippery in my hands. I really need more fingers. But anyway, I'm gonna turn this into clicky buttons, the face into clicky buttons. I'm gonna have back paddles, and just for fun, I've got copper colored thumbsticks that I'm gonna be sticking on here, because why not? When I am finished, this controller will be a PlayStation 5 Elite controller. It will do everything that you want an aftermarket game controller to do, except it will be a factory controller. If you're watching this video and you want to try this yourself, I will have links to all of these in the description, but you can see the install right here. So if you're new to the Rise Remap kit, the nice thing about this is it has a new back of the controller that already has the holes and everything in it. So that's very nice. The buttons and everything are all here, and there's a bunch of electronics. This is a no solder installation. The kit comes with a lot of extra parts. Like in this one, I've got this little rod here is for the paddles. You only need 2 of these, but this kit came with 4. The first thing you gotta do is get this trim piece up. It does have a sparger, or a little pry tool that gets you into all these pieces here. The fun thing is, if you want, this controller or Extreme Rate makes a new one of these, so you can get different colors. So you can do a theme if you want. That exposes some of my screws, but I also got to take these buttons off. I just stick this plastic tool in here. So we'll pop that one off. We're gonna save that. And I'm just gonna pull this down, stick the tool under here, and then pry like that to get that guy off. And that exposes my screws. So I've got a screw right there, a screw right there. I've got on the bottom here. So just 4. We just got to take it all apart. Okay. This is the last time I will need this, and that exposes this. First thing I got to do is get this battery out of here. And there's a 3-wire connector here. You can just pull on that to disconnect that. Then there's a screw right there. That's what's holding our motherboard down. So we'll take the tray out for the battery. That leaves the microphone hanging here. I'm gonna unclip this just to get it out of the way. It just pulls right out. Then there's this tiny little tab for this circuit board. I will need to pull that out. I'll try and show this. Right here, this needs to lift up to release that. Okay, so that gets that guy out. We will not be reusing these because the new kit comes with new ones. I've got to get to this circuit board, so this whole thing is gonna have to get stripped out. So this comes off, this main board. You can see my thumbsticks are coming out there. I'm gonna undo this blue ribbon cable here so that this is released. And that's gonna be the front pad and the part that holds my button faces on that I need to remove so that I can install my clicky pads. Just like that, this part has been separated. I'm not changing these buttons, so I don't want to touch anything with that. I'm gonna leave it upside down. I have now exposed the circuit board for this, which means it's time to see what's in this kit. When you look at these are clicky. You can hear me click them. That's what makes our clicky buttons here. This went to the back right here, and it just clips on like that. So that just slides out, and then this one should just slide right back in where that came from. So you can see that just went right back on there, this guy here, and that'll get held down by this circuit board right here. These will make contact with that to enable all of my little clicky buttons. So this has been prepped. Those are all in place with the little rubber bumpers on. Now we're gonna work on these clicky triggers. I've got to go back over here, and there's 2 screws here and 2 screws here. That will release the triggers from the controller. Now I've got the triggers out like that, you can see, and you can see the whole assembly. Now really all we got to do, there's some screws in here to take apart. So there's 3 screws there, 1, 2, 3. Same with this guy, 1, 2, 3. You want to be careful, because usually when you're taking stuff like this apart, things go flying. Like there's springs and stuff that nobody knew were there. There. So you can see I got that ribbon out and revealed a 4th screw. There's a little hook here, and this bottom piece needs to hook on that hook and then go into position. And then we can stick that rod back in, which has the spring on it still. Now that should go on, and it does. So this goes back on just like that, and then I can put that screw back in. What I want to do is put this one in first so that I can plug the ribbon cable in. Make sure I don't have any issues with that first. I'm going to try and use this little plastic thing. Yeah, to drive that in there. Like that, there. Ribbon cable is in. This is basically assembled. I just got to put 3 screws back in, and then it's ready to go. I thought this would be the hardest part. This is not the hardest part. The harder part is actually figuring out how to assemble the Extreme Rate back buttons. So we've got this all together. Before I screw it together, I'm just gonna make sure it still clicks. And it does. You can see my throw there is very small. We wanna make sure the pin's in. We wanna make sure that's all in. And then we can put the cover on. That is assembled on, well, we gotta put these screws in. And then we can begin reassembling the controller. That is done. So I can put this back onto this. I'm gonna marry these 2 together. Okay, now I'm gonna do these caps while I'm here so I don't forget about them. So these just pull right off, like that, and like that. Now these caps are actually for a PlayStation 4. I looked for PlayStation 5 caps, and nobody had any. Look at that, yeah. Now, one thing I'm noticing, this one's way higher than this one. So once I get it installed, I'm gonna pull this higher so that they're all the same, but it does fit. Look how awesome, this is a premature look, but look how awesome that's gonna look. It's now time to go into my back button kit. And I need to at least get this piece out because I need to attach this onto here. So we're gonna go like that. We're gonna push that ribbon cable there. Do you see how that makes a difference right there? Just that little bit. Make sure that ribbon cable is going through the right hole, or you're gonna have to back up and do other steps. Just gotta make sure everything's in the right spot. That didn't pop off, that's excellent. You wanna make sure they're in all the way, because if they're not, they could be a little crooked and then things won't work right. What I do need to do is put these guys in to my trigger buttons and this guy into my trigger buttons so that everything goes where it's supposed to go. I'm gonna plug this in. Am I gonna plug that in? Yes. With the circuit board facing in. Okay, that is in all the way now. And then this side rolls over and goes into here. I'm gonna do that the exact same way, like that. That one is in. Now you can see this is automatically lying right where I want it to go to plug into this. Then we're gonna do the other side. So this guy is gonna go, it's a little bit trickier. So this outside piece goes outside on here. So all of those are in. Everything that we need to do here is in. Now don't forget, there was a screw here holding this in. This is gonna make sure that everything stays right where we want it. So we put this little guy on here. Now I can plug the battery in. If you're not confident, you might want to leave the battery unplugged for now, because it will provide power to all of our circuitry. We're gonna do that like that. Then we're gonna flip that over like that so that we got a flat surface to attach our circuit board to. We're gonna take all these circuits and lift them up like that. So we go like that, there we go. And then this is gonna stick on here while all these go in. So we're okay here. Now I can attach all of the pieces to this. So these have little flip up tabs here that lift up like that. And so this is a little different than the rest. You see that tab, how that lifted up there? And then, okay, those are in. You can see those are in. The tab is locked down. This is ready to go. There, that's stuck on the battery now. So it's not gonna move anywhere. Now that that's all screwed on, we can attach this rear microphone, and all I'm gonna do is stick it, hopefully in there where it needs to be. So there you can see that little microphone's attached. All I've got is this ribbon cable here, which goes into this, which means it's time to actually assemble that. Now this is not hard, but it is a little difficult. Okay, so we got our wings. All you're gonna do is put the rod through the wings. They only go one way. It's impossible to screw it up. I have wanted to get some different wings for this. I'd like them to be longer. So I debated seeing if I could like scan these and then 3D print some new wings, but I'm not a 3D printer designer guy. I have a 3D printer and I'd love to 3D print these. So if you have one of these kits and are looking to make these longer, let me know, because I want to talk to you and sample those. I'll feature you on the video if you've made longer wings. Let me know. We can put this little button, this little guy, inside this little hole. And then this little thing here, the LED light, so that you can see what you're doing. And that just pops through this hole here and then pops into position. And then really it, like this snaps together, but I don't want to snap it together yet. Put this in here and then we can hold it in position to make sure, and you can see that's going to click those exactly how we want it. Let's get this screwed onto here now, because now is the time for that, because then I got to pass the ribbon cable through and then sandwich it all together. But we're only going to use 4 screws and they just screw right through this hole right here like that. There's different colors of back plates and buttons and all that, so if you want you can do that. So you can see I got 1 screw in there and then I've lined up the other holes so that I can get the other screws all in. You want to do this before you assemble. The back paddle face thingy is on. So what we can do now is feed this ribbon through this hole like this, and we can actually reattach this whole thing. So I'm gonna go like this. This will be the first time that this new back has been attached to the front. It is powering on. It has not been paired to a PlayStation, so it's not a big deal. I'm not gonna screw it together yet because I still have to attach this. I want to actually push this so that the cable is going underneath. We want it to be like an S because I need the cable to be coming out this way so that it can slide like this and take up that gap. I don't want to clip this down yet. I'm gonna just put it like this so that this cable can move. I need flexibility there so that when I attach this to it, it's gonna go with the red light facing forward like that. So that's in now. Now I can flip this over and put it into position. So there's a little tab there that this needs to slide under, and you can see it just slides in like that and then goes flat. Once it's all attached, I'm gonna flip it over like this while I clip this on, and this just snaps on. Now, that is clicked in place. My paddles are clicked in place. Now I can click the rest of this into place, and then we just need to put all my screws in. Now we'll clip these in. What's that, R1? And these just push back into place. There's nothing fancy. Then final touch, put this on. Just like that, we have a PlayStation Elite controller, complete with back buttons, complete with clicky triggers, and it looks cool. Doesn't that look cool? So I'm sure you're wondering, how does it work? How does it feel? What's the difference between this and a regular controller? And a lot of that, you got a lot of questions. So I'm going to use this controller for the next week or so. I'm gonna game with it. I'm going to see how I feel about it and then report back my findings in another video. So if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe down below. You'll want to hit the bell so that when the next video drops talking about my impressions of the controller, you will be able to get a notification for that so that you can watch it right away and decide if you want to run out and do all of these mods or not. Don't forget to check out some of the other videos over here. There's a lot of great videos in the back library. Until next time, this has been Gears and Tech. Have a great day.